if you have a solution. Don't worry about how you come across. I mean, who cares? But just be sincere.
This is Pamela Wilson. I coach people in mid-career to build profitable online businesses, and that's one of the reasons that I wanted to bring you Lou Reyes today. Lou is the founder and the face of Over 50 TV and a brand new YouTube channel called Side Hustle Rules. And I have gotten to know Lou during the time that I've been on YouTube. He has been such an incredible encourager and supporter of this channel. And he has an amazing story to tell. So welcome, Lou. Thank you so much for joining the Online Business Expert Series.
Thank you, Pamela. Thanks for having me. I really do appreciate it.
I'm so glad you're here because you have so much to share with our audience. And I wanted to ask you, first of all, a little bit about your background and how you got to where you are today.
Well, first of all, where I'm at today is I do have Over 50 TV, which is a YouTube channel. And I also recently launched Side Hustle Rules. Now, Over 50 TV, what I do on that channel is I really just offer career advice to people who are over 50. There's a large need for that. There's lots of different solutions. And I talk about some of the challenges that people who are over 50 years old, what they face on a daily basis. On Side Hustle Rules, what I do is I offer advice on how to start a side hustle, which I firmly believe anybody who's starting a business should get their toe in the water, get their feet wet, start something small and build it big. So those are the two channels, and that's where I'm at today. Now, how I got to where I'm at today is a very interesting question. I grew up in a housing project in Cleveland, Ohio, and it was not a very great place, as you can imagine the housing projects aren't. And when I was growing up there, we were poor. And what I did one day is I made a conscious decision that I wanted to make some money. I was tired of not having any money. So I watched the guys around me and the women. There were lots of women too, younger people who were selling drugs. And I thought, you know what? If they can do it, I can do it, but I can do it better. So one day what I did is I made the decision. I went to the library, my school library. And every day I went to the library and every day I pulled out a new book and I literally read every single book on gangsters and on drug dealers, every book. And I would read that book at the library. I'd take it home. I mean, I'm a voracious reader, so I was reading all the time. Well, after reading these books, I mean, dozens of books, and looking at all the pictures, I finally concluded that that's not the profession that I wanted to get into. And the reason is because I saw every drug dealer was blown away. Every gangster was shot, whether it's in their car or walking down the street or sitting in a restaurant. So I decided, no, I don't want to do that. So I guess I can just say to you that it started by my desire to get out of a poor situation, to transform my existence, my life. And I went from that to deciding that I'm going to go ahead and start becoming a self-employed person. So then I started reading every book I could about business. So that's how I got to where I'm at today, reading all the time to understand how to get to where I wanted to go.
I love that. And so you basically were inspired by the only entrepreneurs that you could see in front of you, right?
Exactly.
Which is the people in your environment, right? And what I love about this is you were scared straight by the library, right? You read yourself into a better choice for your life. So I love that. All right. So tell us a little bit about the careers that you got into, because when you and I met originally, I was like, my gosh, this guy's head has thumbs in so many different things. I want to hear about that and share it with the audience as well.
I started out as I started a little cleaning service when I was in my mid-20s, a home cleaning service. And that I went for a little while. I sold that to my partner at the time, and he took that business and he grew it a little bit. And from there, though, I still love being in business and wanted to be in business. So I had a talent for graphic design. I bought an Apple computer way back when, bought an SC, and I started doing graphic design. Didn't make any money at that, but I came up with the idea that, hey, I just need to advertise. So created a newsletter, started selling ads in the newsletter, and that newsletter started growing way faster than my graphic design business. And it was so much easier for me to sell advertising. I love selling. I love meeting people. That's a key in anything. Any advice I can give someone is to learn how to sell. So I sold ads, built that a little business up into a chain of publications. Right now, there's 17 in the country, 17 different outlets in the country for that. But I built that up into a chain of business-to-business magazines, started a trade show business to help fund the magazine. That blew up in terms of making money. And by the time I sold it, we were making millions of dollars. And that's in a nutshell how I got into where I'm at today.
I love that. And again, you sort of looked at what you had in front of you and said, I'm going to approach this from a different angle.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I love it. And it's funny, before we started recording, one of the things we were talking about is the fact that people in our age group are kind of bilingual, right? We speak digital, we speak internet, and then we also speak analog and pre-internet. And I think that ability to look at things from a different angle is something that people in our age group really can sort of leverage, right?
Yeah. I think you can use it to your advantage. There's no question. I mean, literally everything that we do, and we have the advantage, and it's good that you bring this up. We have the advantage of when the internet really started, when everything was launching, we saw it in its infancy, and we can take the experiences that we learned, which are valuable experiences. And I don't think people realize that, but we can take what we learned and use it for what we're doing today.
Definitely. Yes. I love that. So let's come to today. Let's bring ourselves to the present and talk about what you're doing now. You have this huge presence on YouTube. So one of the things that I wonder is what drew you to YouTube in the first place? What
I try to do in everything that I do, and I guess this is just kind of my blueprint, is I plan ahead to where I want to go, and then I determine how I'm going to get there. I created the YouTube channel specifically because I knew I needed a way to reach a lot of people. And once I had a mass, not a massive audience, but a community, then I could leverage that community and start building other businesses around there, which is why I started Side Hustle Rules. I saw a need. People were all with my videos on Over 50 TV. Anything that talked about starting a side business always got a lot of views. So I said, okay, let's start this other channel, and I'll really use the experience that I have starting businesses to help more people. So I just planned. I started YouTube with the idea, the next step, which is I'm going to be doing hopefully this year, opening a production studio. That production studio will then offer, then I'll start producing more content, a lot more efficiently, and grow. But YouTube was just one of the steps that I plan to take. So that explains it.
I love that. And so you decided to use YouTube rather than, for example, a lot of people in my audience are looking at all of these different places where they could be putting their videos. So they could put them on Facebook, they could put them on Instagram, they can put them on YouTube. Is there a reason that YouTube seemed like a better platform for reaching an audience with video?
One thing I liked about YouTube was the what I consider the ease to monetizing. Which I felt for me, with my background and my publishing background, I have a lot of experience selling advertising, selling sponsorships. Those things seemed to fit. So I was looking for a property, YouTube, looking for a property where I could use my skills. I'm always looking at not just what we can do today, what we can build today, but what we can add on to that to help make it strong and to build a nice structure. So, I just use YouTube because I knew that I could leverage my experience. And I guess that's really the best way I can answer that question.
Yeah, I love that. I know I personally was drawn to YouTube because it feels a lot more like a search engine, and the content you put on there can surface years from now. People can still be watching it, where on social media, it kind of enters this stream and then flows downstream and it disappears and people can't find it as easily. So,
I agree.
So if someone is thinking about using video, like, for example, Lou, you're very natural on video. I mean, it seems like something you've been doing your whole life. And what I wonder is if somebody is thinking about using video for their business to reach an audience the way you have, what would your advice be for people, especially in our age group, because that's who's watching?
What I look at when I'm deciding whether or not to be on YouTube, and if I'm telling somebody, hey, get on YouTube if you feel comfortable, if you have a solution, Don't worry about how you come across. I mean, who cares? But just be sincere. So I guess that's really it.
Right, exactly. So it's not about a perfect presentation. It's more about sincerity, is what you're saying.
I find that to be very true.
Yeah.
People see right through you.
Yeah. And I have to say, I mean, as somebody who is just getting going with this, that's actually harder to accomplish than it looks. Coming across sincerely and also, feeling kind of relaxed about it is really, it just comes with practice, I guess, right? The more you do it, the better you get. When you go back to your earliest videos, do you see progress when you compare where you are now to where you were then?
I cringe.
I guess basically, if we're not cringing when we look at our early videos, we're not doing something right?
Good point. That's very perceptive, and it's exactly right.
Okay, good. All right. So what I wonder then is if you could put together 2 or 3 tips, like you've already said, just aim for sincerity, have a solution and aim for sincerity. But if you could maybe share a couple more tips with people, what would they be?
Listen. I would say listen. When I started my YouTube channel, the first thing that Lou did, I happened to go to a grocery store in my neighborhood a few years, 3.5 years ago, saw a guy there, just started talking to him, found out he had a YouTube channel. Well, I knew I obviously I wanted to start one in my head. I started talking to him, and he was a young dude, a young guy who introduced me to other young people. And I would go to sit with about 4 or 5 of them, and we would just share ideas. One day, one of those young people said to me, young guy, he looks at me and goes, "Can I talk to you for a second?" And I'm like, "Yeah, man." We walked away and he said, "I got to be honest with you." He goes, "When I saw you," he goes, "I never thought that somebody who looked like you would be interested in YouTube." It's just being able to listen and to find people that you can talk to. And that's what I do. And that's how I think that's one of the things I would give advice to.
And it doesn't matter if they're in a completely different age group, right? Because that's the other thing that I noticed. The older I get in the business world, you just start to realize that the great mass of people who are coming up behind you are all dramatically younger than you are, right?
Yeah. There's no doubt about that. But you know what? And I'm not saying you are, but I think there are some people who are intimidated by that. But you know what? And I know the knowledge I have and the experience that I have, and I know what I've done, which is quite a bit. And that's not bragging. If you've done it, it's not bragging. But I've built businesses, that are successful. I've sold them. I've built businesses that failed, but I've never quit. So to me, it's like I'm not intimidated by anybody, and I don't think you should be intimidated by anybody. Anybody who's watches, don't be intimidated. You can say, "Well, I'm not intimidated," but you know what? Go up to them, ask them, questions, talk to them, be sincere. Don't talk down to them. If I'm over 50, I'm over 60, and I'm going to tell you something. I'm talking to people, and I just want to know what you're doing. I'm curious as hell about everything.
Let's say you have somebody in front of you who has never done video in their lives, and they want to use video because they know how powerful it is for connecting with other people. What would you recommend? How should they get started?
So find a mentor, a wise person who's been through the trenches, who's had the ups and the downs. And for me, I want a mentor who has seen the ups, seen the downs. He's been there, done it, no BS. There's so many people, even on YouTube, and I'll pontificate if I can. I watch some of these people on YouTube who are building a channel, and they're lucky they built this channel and they're successful on it, but they're lucky, in my opinion. And there are a lot of people going to disagree with me, but I've been around, I've seen it. So you can build something, but you may not know or have the real experience. That's why for what I'm doing on Side Hustle Rules, I'm giving people the experience that I have in success, in failing, somebody who's done it. I didn't just do it on one channel, literally, and I mean it literally and figuratively, YouTube or Instagram. Do it in multiple platforms. Be successful and fail in multiple platforms, and that's how you learn. So I'm giving you you probably weren't expecting that, but to me, I want to learn from somebody who's got wisdom, who's got experience, who's been there, done it. And that's where I'm going to advise anybody, find somebody who's got that experience. That'll help you, because you know what? There are many times in our life as an entrepreneur where we're down, where we have no money, where our bank account is empty, where our friends are maybe far and few between, or our friends or our family who will love us no matter what. And we need somebody who can connect with us and give us that advice, the suggestions that we need, the things that we need to hear that no one else will tell us. So find a mentor. Long answer to your short question.
That is a perfect answer, because I think a lot of us think that we have to figure this out ourselves.
Mhm.
And, we have the internet that supposedly has all the answers in the world in front of us. And I think a lot of people feel like, well, I'll just look up enough blog articles or watch enough YouTube videos and I'll figure this out.
Mhm.
But there is a much shorter path and a much more pleasant path, really, because if you do have a mentor, that person is there for you to help you when things are up and when things are down, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Why not learn from the mistakes that somebody else has made for you, right?
Oh, I agree. I don't think we have to walk alone. We don't have to walk alone on any journey we take. We can walk with somebody else, hand in hand. They don't have to be behind us. They don't have to be in front of us. They can be beside us. And to me, that's important.
Yes, I love that. All right. So tell me about Side Hustle Rules and where you see that going.
Well, I'm very excited about Side Hustle Rules, and I'm excited for lots of reasons, because it's almost number one, it will help people who want to start a business. And I always will recommend starting a side hustle. I believe that's true. The number one goal is to help people who want to start a business. And as long as I'm sincere about it, and as long as I can produce the results, then it'll be successful.
And you're helping the same audience that you help on Over 50 TV. Is that right? Or is it a broader audience?
It's a very much broader audience, because not everybody on Over 50 TV wants to start a side hustle or start a business. But on Side Hustle Rules, it'll be much more focused on people who want to start a business or have an idea about starting a business, but they're just not sure. They need to get some more information. So it's two separate audiences. Over 50 TV is for people who are over 50 years old and who are interested in their career and in overcoming the obstacles that are inherent when you are older, 50, 60 years old. Side Hustle Rules is all about making money. It's all about making money, and it's all about starting a business and, the journey and the fun and the excitement and the adventure that you get when you launch a business.
And at any age, is that right? Or
Any
mostly?
age.
Okay.
I don't care if
Cool.
you're 16 years old. If you want to learn how to do it, hey.
I love it. That is fantastic. It's such a great idea. And I love this sort of spirit of experimentation. You're looking at your life, you're looking at your platforms, and you're trying to figure out a way that you can plug into what you know and use what's out there to get your message out. And the other thing I'm hearing, Lou, that is so important is that you really paid attention to what your audience told you, both, I'm sure, in the comments on your videos, but also in the videos that became popular on your channel. And that's a great approach. It's a great approach to using content marketing to really get to know what your audience wants and needs.
And that's so great about YouTube, because you've got the analytics and you can tell what video is being watched, what topic is important, how much time somebody's spending watching that video. So if you're deciding you want to get into social media, I do recommend YouTube, because you have those strong analytics. Not saying other platforms do not have that, because they do. I just happen to believe that YouTube has a stronger, the analytics are more thorough. And for me, I learn a lot from the analytics. So it's easy to figure out what your customer wants when you got a YouTube platform with the analytics that they provide.
It is easy, but I have to tell you, not everyone pays attention to that. And that's what I want to highlight here. I think you've done a beautiful job, not just churning out content, but also paying attention to how that content performs. And that's the other piece of it, right? You don't want to. I know a lot of people who just, I call it the content hamster wheel, where they're just like churning out content, and they're not paying attention to what people are responding to. And that's, it's such an important piece of the puzzle. I mean, now we can really see what people do with our content on YouTube, especially. You can see where and when people drop off. I mean, it's kind of amazing when you've come from the analog world. It's kind of amazing how much information you have.
Yeah, no, you're totally right about that. I mean, when I published when I had when, I was distributing magazines, literally on newsprint, and the only way I would know if a issue was successful would be if the advertisers got a response, and then it's almost like a drug though. You got to keep producing. You got to increase your circulation more and more, and the more you increase it, the more money you're making. But you got to keep increasing it with YouTube. With digital right now, we can produce good content. We can tell if somebody likes it or not, and then we can get monetized. So yeah, it's an exciting time right now. No time is better than right now. And anyone at any age can make money on social media if they're just willing to learn.
Yes, I love it. So you're telling me that you did end up being a drug dealer. You're just content drug dealer.
Yeah,
I love it.
Now you know.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. It's really, I mean, I believe that as well, that there is so much opportunity out there right now. And people in our age group might feel a little bit intimidated by the whole thing, but I think that we bring some specific skills to this that people younger than us don't have. And so if we can turn that around and see the advantages that we bring to the table, it is an amazing time to be doing business. And online is such a great space to do it in.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. And there are people that are our age who see this, and those people who invest the time and a little bit of money right now will reap the rewards in a year or two or maybe three. But think about this. If you don't do it now, if you don't get into social media now, 3 years from now, when you could be bringing in 2, 3, 4, 5,000, 10,000 a month, 3 years from now, you're going to say, why didn't I do that?
That's such a great way to look at it. It's an investment. Content marketing is always an investment, and it's a long game. So the sooner you get started putting yourself out there and building an audience, the better. And like you said, 3 years from now, you're either going to have done it and be reaping the rewards from it, or you're going to be wishing you had started, right?
Yeah. And it's so funny. I don't know if you've heard this. I guess it's a poem. It's the saddest, you probably heard it. The saddest words of sword or pen are these, what might have been. And many people looking back and go, well, what might have been if I only, did something.
Yes, exactly. I love that. All right. Well, what might have been years ago has now happened for you. You have this really successful YouTube channel. You're now building onto it and expanding into something else. So if I was to tell people where to find you online, what would be the best place?
Well, I would just go to YouTube and type in over 50 TV, and that'll pop up. It's we got over 1.1 million views, which isn't really huge in the YouTube universe, but it's good size and it's a good segment. That's the thing that I really know is the segment it's doing well. Also, they could go to Side Hustle Rules. You can type it in. I just launched that. It's got 18, 19 subscribers. I mean, I literally just launched it. So there's videos that are right now on my Patreon page. They're going to be, I'm going to be taking those from Patreon. After 10 days on Patreon, I put them on Side Hustle Rules. So
it's a great way. So people join your Patreon group and they get access before anyone else. It sounds like.
Yeah, they do.
That's a great way to do it.
They get early access. Yeah, it works really well.
That's amazing. Lou Reyes, thank you so much for giving us your time today and for being a part of the Online Business Expert Series. I really appreciate it. And I'm looking forward to more collaboration in the future.
I am too. And I got to say, you are an inspiration to me, although I probably never told you that, but you're definitely an inspiration to me.
Oh, thank you. All right. See you soon.
See you soon. Thanks, Pamela.